My husband, Michael, often goes on business trips. This time he will be away from home for a month again. He just left not long ago. I successfully gave birth to a child in the delivery room, and I had no discomfort during my pregnancy. Michael and I have been child-free for 5 years. I think he should like children too. I want to give him a surprise. I haven't finished my confinement period yet. Michael, who was supposed to be on a business trip, suddenly came to the hospital. He looked at the child lying in my arms. He was shaking with anger. I have already been sterilized. Whose child did you give birth to? I smiled and said, you are now a father. What's there to be angry about? Michael was so angry he could hardly breathe. He said, I no longer have the ability to have children, yet you gave birth to a child. How can I be happy about that? I hadn't even had a chance to speak. He suddenly grabbed my neck, staring at me with bloodshot eyes. He asked harshly, speak quickly. Who is that person? I slapped his hand hard, trying to catch my breath. He grabbed my neck. It left a red mark. Seeing that I was about to suffocate, only then did he release his grip. I gasped for air, started to cough violently. The wound vibrated along with it. It hurt a lot. I bit my lower lip tightly. I didn't want to say another word to him. The baby has already been born. Why do you care who the biological father is? He raised his hand and slapped me. The violent action pulled at my abdominal wound again. I looked at him in surprise. Michael, how could you lay hands on a pregnant woman? If something happens to me, you will be held legally responsible. I want to teach you a lesson. You irresponsible person. Not only do I want to teach you a lesson, but I also want everyone to know about the shameful things you've done. Michael suddenly pushed the delivery bed out. They just left me in the hospital corridor. I was filled with unease and fear. Ask him, what do you want to do? He didn't say a word. He just smiled at me. Then he kicked the hospital bed. The bed slid out on its wheels. It crashed into the wall. This collision made my wound hurt again. I gritted my teeth in pain. Cold sweat kept breaking out on my forehead. I struggled to open my eyes. I found that the delivery room was crowded with onlookers. Is there a pregnant woman lying on that bed? She looks like she has just been harmed. Who would be so cruel to lay hands on a pregnant woman? When her husband finds out, he definitely won't let it go. Someone accused Michael of attacking the pregnant woman, but he didn't care at all. Instead, he pulled the blanket off me in front of everyone. With a gust of cold wind, I felt countless gazes on me. I'm completely stunned. I didn't expect him to do that. I tried to sit up, but he forcefully pushed me back onto the bed. Someone shouted, how can you treat a pregnant woman like this? You should quickly cover her with a blanket, even if there are deep-seated grudges. This is not the time to hurt anyone. Michael faced the gazes of those around him. He spoke without any reservations. I'm not afraid to tell everyone. She is my wife, but she had a child with another man. Everyone around looked at me. Michael took a deep breath. He tightly held my chin and said, Emily, since we got married, you insisted on being child-free according to your wishes. All these years, I never forced you. You clearly know I travel often for work. Yet you did this at home. What you did, is it worth my sincerity towards you? Emily, no matter how much I love you, no matter how humble, and I will never be that cheap father. Endure this grievance. Son, what are you all doing? A familiar figure squeezed into the crowd. Grandma looked at me in surprise. She reached out to cover me with a blanket, but was pushed away by Michael. Michael, Emily just gave birth to your child. What are you doing? She called me. To let me help you take care of the baby. I was very happy to hear that. You finally decided not to be child-free anymore. Our family finally has descendants. But what are you doing? Grandma questioned. Michael smiled bitterly. He gritted his teeth and said, Mom, I had a sterilization surgery. Emily's child is someone else's. Grandma was stunned. She involuntarily took a few steps back. Suddenly, she sat down on the ground and cried out loud, Oh God, what kind of sin has our family committed? You have always been unwilling to have children with Michael. He did it for you. He even had a vasectomy, and yet you had a child with someone else. Emily, you can't think you can bully him just because my son likes you. Just because my son likes you doesn't mean you can treat him however you want. Your family is not satisfied with Michael. He has been working hard to earn money after marriage. It's all to make sure you live well, so that you won't regret it. You have insisted on this job that requires frequent business trips. You think this is fair to him. The people who spoke up for me just now suddenly changed their attitude. They started to blame me. This woman has gone too far. If you don't want to be child-free anymore, just tell your husband you want to have kids. Some women nowadays seek excitement. They enjoy taking risks. Some even get pregnant with someone else's child and have their husbands raise it. Now, the phenomenon of illegitimate children is becoming more common. A few days ago, there was an incident where an illegitimate child was bullied by many people. What a reckless decision, completely disregarding the child's feelings. This old man is quite pitiful as well, at such an old age, only to learn that the family line has been cut off. The daughter-in-law openly did something disgraceful to the family. When Grandma heard this, her cries grew louder. She kept causing a scene in the hospital. Michael stopped Grandma, he said. "Mom, she is the one who deserves punishment." He grabbed my neck and slapped me hard twice. Then he punched me in the stomach. The intense pain made my whole body numb. I couldn't catch my breath. I didn't even have the strength to resist. He angrily questioned me. He said, "Whose child is this anyway? If you don't speak up, I won't let you go today." Then, he kept punching my abdomen. It took me a while to recover from the pain, bitten down hard on her lower lip, speaking to Michael. "If anything happens to me, you won't escape the death penalty either." Although I feel nervous inside, I know Michael wouldn't dare to really hurt me. "Emily, you betrayed our relationship and had a child with someone else, and now you come to threaten me. How could you do this? You've done something wrong and still act so self-righteous. She must be an orphan, no one to discipline her. The child she gives birth to won't turn out any better." Michael smiled slightly. He said, "Emily, I'm also quite puzzled. I've been home so many times. How could I not notice at all that you were pregnant? Tell me, how did you and that person hide it from me? Did you guys drug me the moment I came back? Otherwise, I wouldn't have completely missed it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been completely unaware." The onlookers were astonished, mouths agape. They were discussing whether I still wanted to hurt Michael. I really admire his imagination. "Tell him, I only found out I was pregnant the day before the child was born." "You're talking nonsense." Michael raised his hand as if to hit me. At that moment, another voice suddenly came through. "What have you done to the mother here?" The nurse squeezed through the crowd. She was stunned when she saw me. "How could you treat a mother like this? That's inhumane." The nurse noticed Michael. She was about to scold him. The people nearby quickly explained the situation to her. The nurse frowned. She looked at me with a complicated expression. Then she said, "Mtkes, Emily did not deceive you. She truly did not know she was pregnant all along. That day her water broke. She came to the hospital at night. She gave birth early the next morning." After hearing this, the people around were all stunned. Everyone was taken aback. The nurse said very confidently, "Moreover, this gentleman accuses Mtkes Emily of infidelity, but throughout the entire childbirth process, there was only one man present." Upon hearing this, everyone turned their gaze to my husband, Michael. He then said, "That man might not even know that Emily had a child with him, but Emily did cheat during our marriage. Infidelity during marriage." I gritted my teeth and repeated this phrase. "Michael, we do not have a real marital relationship. On what basis do you say I had an affair during our marriage? And on what basis do you say my child is illegitimate? It's because your parents think I am incapable. They deliberately withheld the household registration book to prevent me from getting the marriage certificate with you." Michael said loudly. I said coldly. "My dad also said, as long as you join our family's company, he is willing to train you. Once you achieve results, we can get married. It's you who are unwilling to join. Michael has his own career to pursue. What do you know? Are you going to keep being their family's live-in son-in-law?" Grandma said emotionally, "You have your own company. You've already made quite a bit of money, and you're letting Michael work for you for free. Is this really appropriate?" Grandma is overly emotional. Suddenly, she collapsed on the ground. Michael questioned me, "Are you trying to drive his mother to death?" I haven't even mentioned that Grandma is also holding the household registration book. How did she faint? Grandma mentioned it too. Unless my dad clearly writes down, 2/3 of the company's income goes directly to you. Otherwise, we won't be allowed to get a marriage certificate. 2/3 of the profits. You can earn millions as soon as you open your eyes each day. You think our Smith family is running a charity?" The people nearby heard this. They probably understood the situation. Everyone was very surprised. It seems that way. This man's family seems a bit off too. Isn't it obvious they're trying to take advantage? Yeah, and he laid hands on a woman who just gave birth as soon as he walked in. He really doesn't seem like a good person. Don't say that. Michael slapped me across the face. "Emily, you can't underestimate me like this. My monthly income isn't much, but I carry out state secret missions. You can't look down on me for that." Michael finished speaking. Everyone around immediately looked at him with admiration. State secret missions. These are the elites contributing to the country. I really didn't expect him to be this impressive. How can she treat someone who contributes to the country like this? Is there something wrong at her home? It should be investigated thoroughly. I really have nothing to say. Michael, someone like you can also carry out secret missions. She just runs a small company. She has a bit of money, and she can look down on researchers like this. Exactly. If it weren't for these talents contributing to the country, she wouldn't have such opportunities to make money as a businesswoman. In my opinion, it's better if she doesn't join. What if she becomes an academician in the future? This experience might become her negative record. Young man, don't lay a hand on her. Bad people will eventually face their consequences. Don't get yourself into trouble. Michael looked around at the people gratefully. Everyone, I'm really angry, but due to everyone's persuasion, I have decided to stop this marriage. I, Michael, have done my best for MTK's Emily, but it should end here. Please help me. Let Emily leave without taking anything and also compensate for my emotional distress. Michael shouted loudly. The people around immediately echoed. Those who betray marriage should bear the consequences. I support the man's actions. If I were that man, facing such betrayal, I definitely wouldn't be able to accept it. After giving so much to her, only to get such a result in return. It's truly disheartening. The man has been quite restrained. I couldn't help but laugh. Michael, we haven't even gotten our marriage certificate yet. How can you let me leave empty-handed? It's simple. All you have to do is sign an agreement. Just give me the company, the house, and the car. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Michael, you should take a look at yourself. You still want to spend my money. If you keep slandering the country's talents, we need to take action. You complain about his low salary, but no matter how virtuous you are, you still don't qualify for those confidential missions. I advise you to apologize quickly. Just sign the document honestly. At least don't make things worse. I gave a cold smile. Even if I gave all my money to dogs, I would never give him a single cent. Michael tightened his grip around my neck. Emily, you really won't give up until the bitter end? You won't give it to me. Isn't it just to leave it for this child? He suddenly let go of me. He forcefully threw my child to the ground. I was shocked and widened my eyes. I wanted to rush to hold my child, but I was pressed down hard on the delivery bed. You dare not to sign? I will go down with you. The nurse beside immediately took the child for rescue. My heart was beating wildly. This is my only child. Nothing must happen. I clenched my teeth tightly. Michael, if anything happens to my child, I will never let you go. He laughed loudly. I am the one carrying out a confidential mission. How could I sacrifice my life for your pet? Stop dreaming. Michael was agitated. He completely ignored the discussions around him. Even if she did something wrong, the child is innocent. That child is still so small. So what if he is young? His birth was a mistake from the start. Leaving now might be a relief. His ruthless approach this time is truly something not an ordinary man can possess. Perhaps there are unknown reasons behind their marriage. Otherwise, how could someone as excellent as her husband be chosen by Emily to cheat? The voices around are chaotic. I clench my fists, staring intently at Michael. Everyone has been speaking up for you for so long. It's time for you to tell the truth to everyone. Michael gives a cold smile. It's come to this, and you still want to shift the blame to me. I smiled faintly. You really think I don't know you travel frequently? The reason for actively getting a vasectomy. Michael's face shows a look of surprise. The onlookers fall silent. All eyes turn to me. I calmly say, you are always on business trips. Actually, to see your other child. You don't marry me. It's because you are already married to that woman. She is worried that you will leave her after the divorce. That's why she is unwilling to divorce. Michael, as a married man, you have deceived me for so many years. How can you have the audacity to blame me here? I've said my piece. Everyone around was stunned. Michael slapped me across the face. He threatened me with a fierce expression. A person like you, who lies through your teeth. No one will believe anything you say. I spat blood on him. Gritting my teeth, I opened my phone. I held it high to show everyone. What a coincidence. There are photos and videos here. All of them are solid evidence. In the footage, Michael is holding a little boy about 4 or 5 years old. The boy bears some resemblance to him and affectionately calls him Dad. Michael responds with a smile. Next to him stands a woman who looks a few years older than me. I gritted my teeth and said, at first, I also found it strange. Even if you had a child before you met me, there's nothing wrong with that. Later, I understood. It turns out I was being cheated on. Don't say any more. Michael shouted loudly. That child is not mine. I've never been married. He looks so much like me and claims he's not an illegitimate child. Does this guy think no one can tell? When that little boy called him dad, he also agreed, but now he doesn't want to acknowledge it. Does this count as bigamy? Michael hurriedly explained. I had a vasectomy a long time ago. How could I have an illegitimate child? Emily, you're trying to find an excuse for your child and insist on framing me with a non-existent crime. Isn't that right? After Michael finished speaking, he dragged the nurse to check if he was sterilized. They had just left. Someone suggested pushing me into the delivery room, but before I could get onto the delivery bed, a nurse hurriedly walked over. Ask, where is MTKS Emily? I am Emily. The nurse handed me a piece of paper. Say, your baby accidentally fell when he was just born. The situation is not good right now. You need to sign a critical condition notice. But please don't worry. We will do our best to save him. I suddenly felt a jolt throughout my body, although I hadn't spent much time with the child. It was after a life and death struggle that I gave birth to him. I still felt an immense sense of joy. I felt this was a gift from heaven. I was in so much pain that I could hardly breathe. The nurse tightly held my hand and said, Ma'am, please don't rush. We will do everything we can. I bit my lip tightly. With trembling hands, I signed the critical condition notice. The nurse glanced at me. Her expression was somewhat complicated. After hesitating, she asked, If I may ask, where is the child's father you just gave birth? It might be inconvenient for you to handle things. I'm speaking honestly. The child has no father. The nurse didn't say anything else. Hurriedly ran towards the operating room. I watched her silhouette, silently praying that my child would be safe. Has that person already died? Michael had his hands in his pockets. He returned looking quite pleased. Speak, is your child particularly resilient? The father was gone as soon as he was born. I ignored him. At that moment, the people around looked at him with discontent. Because everyone heard my conversation with the nurse just now. Michael dropped a newborn baby, needing resuscitation. His behavior is simply unacceptable. He noticed the gazes of those around him, but he proudly said, I've already had a sterilization surgery. It's absolutely impossible for me to have a child. Emily, with your brain, you still want to frame me, I said coldly. So what if Michael got a vasectomy? Your illegitimate child is already 10 years old. The photo just now was taken a few years ago. These were all posted by your mother on social media. No wonder your mom has always opposed the idea since we decided to be child-free. She has always been against it. I told her I had a child, but she didn't show any surprise. Instead, she seemed a bit taken aback. It turns out she already had a biological grandson. That child was even born before I met you. Michael was about to argue. My secretary interrupted him. She pulled out the paternity test report. She said to Michael, Mr. Michael, we have received the paternity test results for you and that child. Your actions constitute marriage fraud. The secretary rushed over. Standing in front of me, she showed the paternity test report to those around us. Her tone was firm. She continued to question the bewildered Michael. You don't need to doubt that I forged your paternity test report. I've already sent it online. This is indeed the official report issued by the hospital. You originally planned to return tomorrow, but when my boss informed your mother of the pregnancy news, she immediately notified you. You rushed over. You had already prepared all your excuses. Your goal was to get a divorce and to get more money from the boss so that you could afford to raise that child. Michael was taken aback for a moment and then said, I didn't expect that you Smith family members are so good at spinning stories. So according to you, having one more child isn't a good thing. Why must I divorce Emily? The secretary flipped to a news article. It said, not long ago, your illegitimate child was bullied at school. The mistress started causing trouble for you. You hurried over. Unexpectedly, our boss suddenly had a child. It just gave you a reason to divide the assets. I pushed myself up from the bed with great effort. I looked at Michael and said, We've come this far. What else do you have to explain? We've been married for so many years. It turns out you have been lying to me all along. Michael was momentarily flustered. His body swayed a bit. He almost fell backward. Fortunately, Grandma arrived just in time to support him. Grandma hurried to my delivery bed. She knelt on the ground and said, Emily, this is not Michael's fault. It's all my fault. Michael wanted to get married at that time, but that girl was pregnant. I was too lonely on my own, so I let her have the baby. Later, Mom didn't push you to have children anymore. It was all Mom's moment of confusion. If you want to blame someone, blame me. Michael was also forced by me to keep this from you. She kept bowing to me. Her forehead was bleeding from the bows. No matter how Michael tried to pull her up, she just wouldn't get up. You're insisting on this as a way to atone. Emily, my mother has treated you like her own daughter for so many years. How can you bear to push her to this point? Are you even human? My secretary wanted to help her up, but she ended up pushing him to the ground. Grandma apologized to me. Emily, it's all my fault, but this is a family matter. You don't need to make it public knowledge. I laughed. I was lying in bed just after giving birth. How could I possibly push the bed out myself? This old lady is also not very reliable. She didn't even discuss it with her son before coming here. Did she post all of this online, make that person suffer too? My grandson is definitely not a bastard. Grandma was shaking with anger, pointing at the crowd around. It's because of people like you. Such a good child of his is being bullied. What did he do wrong? This is a matter for our own family. What gives you the right to interrupt? They could have discussed it properly as a couple. It's all your fault for talking nonsense on the side. You had to stir things up. What you did is absolutely unacceptable. Moreover, my son is someone who contributes to the country. What right do you have to speak about him? As soon as Grandma finished speaking, someone in the crowd immediately responded. Someone carrying out a confidential mission wouldn't be talking nonsense outside. If this kind of thing gets leaked, it's not just losing a job that can be brushed off. This gentleman is clearly looking for trouble on purpose. Grandma's face turned pale, because she understood better than anyone. For years, their family has relied on the support of our Smith family. Grandma couldn't argue with them. She even threatened to die to force them to leave. Onlookers were just there to enjoy the spectacle. Seeing this situation, they all retreated. Grandma turned around crying. She grabbed my hand and said, "Good child, marriage is a fate cultivated from past lives. Don't let the words of those people affect you and hold a grudge against Michael." Grandma seems very kind on the surface, but I understand in my heart what she says is actually out of fear for a difficult future. Grandma asked Michael to apologize to me, but he is not very willing. He even said, "Although I have an illegitimate child, you also cheated. Neither of us owes the other anything." Grandma quickly interjected, "Emily, children from single-parent families are easily bullied. For the sake of the child having a father, you should forgive Michael." Grandma is more anxious than Michael, because the house she lives in and the nanny at home are all arranged by my money. If they divorce, she can only go back to the village to farm. So she keeps urging Michael, "You should hurry back and get that divorce, and then get your marriage certificate." She always emphasizes the importance of a father to a child. But all I can think about is the image of Michael throwing my son. "Emily, where is Emily? The little nurse just called for me." I immediately sat up. I asked anxiously, "What is happening to my child right now?" The nurse's face turned pale. Grandma frowned and asked, "What have you done to my grandson? Let me be direct with you. If anything happens to my grandson, I will not forgive you. Emily, you are very lucky. Your life is tough. The child will definitely be safe." I felt a tingling sensation all over my body. The moment Grandma touched me, I instinctively pushed her away. Michael scolded me loudly, but when the nurse said that sentence, the whole room fell silent. "Your child has passed away." My mind went blank. My body felt especially heavy. Grandma looked at the nurse in shock, asked excitedly, "Why did it suddenly disappear? Is it a problem with your hospital?" People around were all frightened. They all blamed Michael and his mother, even if he's not biologically related. One shouldn't be so heartless. To let a child end up like this, his illegitimate child is being bullied at school. He feels very anxious about it. However, he is so cruel to a child still in the cradle. Such a person should be locked in prison for life. Everyone criticized Michael's actions, but Grandma was unwilling to believe it. She shook her head. Her gaze turned to Michael. Michael seemed stunned. He kept mumbling, "It's impossible. How could he die?" I didn't use much force. I took deep breaths while trying to calm myself down. After I learned that Michael has a wife and child, I have decided to have a child through in vitro fertilization. This child is very well behaved. I had no discomfort throughout the entire pregnancy. In fact, I even had a small amount of menstruation each month, but this well-behaved child actually lost their life because of Michael. I only had a brief day as a mother with that child. I helped the secretary get out of bed. I stared intently at Michael's devastated expression. I said coldly, "You can wait for the court summons." Grandma's face was pale. Suddenly, she knelt on the ground. She tightly grasped my leg. Emily, you can have more children even after losing this one. Michael is still your husband. After all, how can you sue him? I didn't even look at Grandma once, I said in a cold tone. Not only am I going to sue him, but I will also make him pay the price. Grandma tightly held on to me, refusing to let me go. She pleaded with me desperately. Emily, just give Michael a chance. How about this? I'll let another child call you mom. Consider it a compensation for a son. Is that okay? Who cares about your stuff? I shouted angrily. The people around also chimed in. This old lady is really going too far. I think that beautiful sister should stay away from this trouble, live her own life. Seeing them like this, I feel uncomfortable. Can we get that mother and child out of here? Everyone was saying this while pulling Grandma and Michael. They left me a way to get out. I looked at the child who hadn't even opened his eyes to see the world. Maybe this is better. Leaving when knowing nothing is better than experiencing pain. I bought a small grave for the child. On the day he was buried, it suddenly started to rain heavily. I was just about to go home when I received a call from a strange woman. Emily, your grandma is about to jump off the building. If you still have a conscience, hurry and try to persuade her. I opened my phone. I saw Grandma standing on the rooftop in the rain. She kept saying I want to drive her son to death. She also said she doesn't want to live anymore. On the forum, uninformed netizens were all cursing at me. People at the scene were trying to persuade Grandma to come down. Someone started searching for my information based on clues. The first photo was of me standing in front of my son's grave in a black suit. Did something happen at her home? Such a cruel person. It's not surprising if something happened at home. Really, not even saving her own grandma. Her heart is too cruel. However, they quickly found the hospital's surveillance video from that day. After seeing the truth, the netizens all apologized to me and comforted me to take care of myself. In just 3 short hours, the public opinion shifted from targeting me to Grandma. The crowd began to shout at Grandma, "Old lady, don't waste everyone's time. Hurry up and jump. Don't actually jump down. Then I would really admire you." The police immediately intervened. They reminded him not to say anything that could provoke her. The onlookers found it uninteresting. They gradually left. Seeing that she couldn't achieve her goal through public opinion, Grandma had no choice but to come down from the rooftop. I am suing Michael for child abuse, murder, and bigamy. Due to the attention from a large number of netizens, it quickly entered the trial phase. The verdict of the first trial was, Michael was sentenced to death. He stood frozen in place. Grandma was still crying incessantly. A young woman stood beside her. She is the mother of Michael's child, the one who called me when Grandma was about to jump. As the verdict was about to conclude, the judge asked Michael if he had anything to say. Before he could speak, the woman became anxious, urging him, "Husband, quickly tell me your demands." Michael finally spoke up. He said it would be after the verdict. He wants me to compensate him for these years of so-called youth expenses. He looked at me expressionlessly. "Emily, I haven't treated you poorly all these years. You should at least give me some compensation." After he finished speaking, everyone in the courtroom showed disdain. I didn't expect that either. To leave some money for the child, he actually managed to go this far. I smiled faintly. Michael thought I had agreed. He said to me in surprise, "Emily, I've been under your thumb my whole life. Even until death, I have to rely on your money to raise the child." He continued, "But this way is fine. At least it will ensure you never feel at ease for the rest of your life." Michael got it wrong. He certainly can't affect me. The legal team I hired at great expense. The goal is to make him pay a price. How could I possibly give him money? I outright refused his request on the spot. The court also ruled that his demands were unreasonable. Michael's wife questioned me in tears. "He has been by your side all these years. Even if he hasn't contributed, he has endured hardship. You're not even willing to give him a little compensation. How can there be someone so unreasonable in this world?" I smiled. Doesn't the time and companionship I've given over the years count for anything? Why doesn't he give me money? Besides, on what basis do you say such things? You are his wife, yet you condone his infidelity, and you collude with him to deceive me out of my money. I didn't sue you. I've already been quite lenient. She still wouldn't let it go, pointing at me. She said, "How can you even say that to me? What about yourself?" She continued to shout, claiming that I am just a shameful mistress. I don't care about that. After all, I have sufficient financial means. No matter how angry they get, they can't do anything to me. After the verdict was announced, they still want to come and trouble me, but each time they were chased away by my bodyguard. A year later, Michael was sentenced to death. Grandma cried very sadly. She was hospitalized the next day, but it wasn't because she cried. It was because that woman hit her. Grandma lost 4 teeth, and she also has a limp. It is said that the woman felt Grandma deceived her. She was very unhappy about it. I had my secretary take a fruit basket to visit Grandma once. Mainly, I wanted to see how badly she was doing now. As soon as Grandma saw my secretary, she started crying. She said I had always been the daughter-in-law in her heart. She said, "It's all that woman's fault for not getting divorced. It caused Michael and me not to be able to get married officially. Grandma wants to see me once." But I directly refused her request over the phone. "I won't help you raise your grandson. That child has nothing to do with me. So, I can't support you either." I didn't expect Grandma to hear that. She didn't even want her grandson anymore. Just say it directly. That woman has a chaotic personal life. I even doubt whether this child is Michael's. While Grandma was talking, she happened to be overheard by the woman bringing food. The woman immediately beat Grandma in the hospital. This time she was beaten so badly that she almost lost her life. The kind-hearted secretary saw this, quickly helped Grandma report to the police. The woman went to jail. Grandma no longer had anyone to bring her food. Her health hadn't fully recovered yet, but she was anxious to leave the hospital. There was still a grandson at home waiting to be fed. Of course, Grandma wasn't idle either. From then on, she picked up trash. While raising her grandson, 10 years later, my company successfully went public. I attended the celebration banquet in a sharp suit and was just about to go home. A few teenagers on motorcycles suddenly stopped and caused a scene outside my company. The leader of the group was slender. His hair was dyed red. He shouted loudly, called for Emily to come out. I looked down from the 7th floor. I asked him through the window, "What do you want with me?" As soon as he opened his mouth, he accused me. He said I was responsible for his parents' deaths. In that moment, I suddenly realized where that familiar feeling from him came from. It was the aura of Michael. Then, a few teenagers rode their motorcycles, attempted to force their way into my company, just as they were about to act. They were taken away by the police. After being locked up for a week, they were still unwilling to accept it, especially Michael's son. He said he had suffered so much. It was all my fault. He insisted that I should pay the price, but they didn't come directly to me. Instead, they were talking about it while drinking at a barbecue stall. A few drunk young people couldn't hold back their anger. They jumped on their motorcycles and charged towards my company. Suddenly, one person fell down. The people behind couldn't brake in time. They crashed directly into it. Immediately after, the entire motorcycle group fell one after another. By the time the traffic police arrived on the scene, Michael's son had already stopped breathing. Grandma went to claim the body. When she saw her eldest grandson's body, she not only showed no sadness, but instead she laughed. That person who often bullied me can finally no longer hit me now. Grandma also went insane. She was sent to a mental hospital. 3 months later, she passed away there. After the news of their deaths came, I quickly made it onto the rich list.